Hey watch people, this is Hector from Winding Crowns. Today we're taking a quick look at the GST-B400. You want to be 100% accurate, it's GST-B400 1ACR, but everybody knows it as a GST-B400. They have the variation of this G-Shock steel or G-steel in the full bracelet with the real blacked out dial. And then they have it with the rubber strap with not so blacked out of a dial. That's the one that I chose to look at. This is the box. It's just your basic warranty card, pamphlet, things like that. Then of course, whoever bought a G-Shock knows you get the tin, right? There's that. And let me show you the watch. It's already out. I've wore it a couple of times. Here's your warranty card, memos, and let's check it out, guys. Here's the watch, guys. It's a very cool watch. I know a lot of people are fans of Casio product. I know that they're fans of Casio G-Shock. And a lot of guys will have a square or some kind of Casio or Casio G-Shock in their watch lineup because they don't want to wear their higher end stuff, you know what I mean, even to mid-level, to cut the grass or stuff like that. So you'll have a G-Shock or a couple of G-Shocks for heavy duty yard work or to take to your workplace. You know, if you bang it up, you're not going to cry about it. But the G-Shock lineup have these G-Steels, which are a little bit higher end, a little bit more premium than your standard Walmart G-Shock, and they're usually in that $300 to $400 range. Now this one here is I think it came out about a year ago, and it's the G-Steel lineup. But if you see it, it has these little cutoff angles that make it look really unique and really nice. But the thing on this one, it's so thin. See how thin that is? It's 13.1 in thickness, or I should say thinness, which is pretty thin for a G-Shock. You know, typical watches like dive watches are usually between 12 to 14 millimeters. 14 being on the thicker end, although I've got some that are 18. The Breitling Avenger Seawolf is 18, but typically you're going to have that 12 to 14 range. And that's for a regular diver, just a regular analog diver. G-Shocks are always bigger than that. They're bigger this way, and they're wider, and they're thicker. They just are. Everyone knows that. That's why a lot of guys with smaller wrists will wear the smaller ones. And if you do wear the big ones, you just know what you're getting into. You know the G-Shocks are just big watches and they get a pass, right? But this one is so much thinner, guys. At 13.1, that's very thin for a G-Shock. In the G-Shock world, that is very thin. So you're not going to feel that cumbersome, you know, G-Shock feel. It's going to be lay flat to your wrist, and it's really nice. And also from here, it's not a big watch either. It's about 44 millimeters, which I know people say, well, that's big. Not for a G-Shock. A lot of people own this watch here, which I still have to do a review on it. The Casio Duro. That's a 44 millimeter watch. And if you can wear that, you can wear this one. Look at the bezel. They wear very similar. The only thing is that you have these little wings here on the G-Shock, and they just give it a bigger, you know, if you measure from there, yeah, it's about 49, but that's the only place right there. The rest of it really does wear more like a 44, 45, guys. So it doesn't wear much bigger than this Duro. And I know for a G-Shock, that's not big. Even your typical square, when you do the measurements on those, they're not small watches. They just are smaller in comparison to the other G-Shock lineup. It's got a lot of different textures to this dial, meaning, let me see if I can zoom in, guys. I won't talk much on this video about the functions because all the functions on every G-Shock are basically the same. I got a smudge on it or something. Look at the top of the bezel. You see the real fine brushing? If you're staring at the watch this way, you see how nice that vertical brushing is? And then if you look as you turn the angle there, you have high polish. See that high polish? Then you turn it and you have more vertical brushing. Then you have vertical brushing here, but you have high polished here and here, but the rest is vertical brushing. Then if you look at the buttons, you have circular brushing. I mean, I don't know how they did all these angles. And then if you look at these right here, you see how you have that vertical brushing? But if you look at these right here, these tops, it comes down. The brushing comes down, which it would have been easier for them just to go vertical there too, but no, they go with the angle. Look at that. You see that? See how it's going this way? And the other one's going opposite that way. But then you have vertical there. They did the same thing over here. See the brushing on those right there? Real nice brushing, and then vertical. I mean, they spent a lot of time changing out the wheels and everything else to give something a brushing. Give it a polish, then a brushing, then a vertical brushing, then horizontal brushing, a diagonal brushing, and then back to vertical, and then and then circular brushing on the buttons. It's just, it catches light big time. I'm just here in the studio lights, and maybe it's not doing it justice, but in the sun, wow. The strap is integrated into the case, and it's very, very nice. It's better than the normal, G-Shocks. I have a lot of G-Shocks. I've worn a lot of G-Shocks, and your squares are comfy, but this strap is just completely different. It's molded better. It's got this, like, see that? Like where it bends down. It's got a nice quick release on there. See that? And it's got a little breathing area there. It gives you a gap for breathing. Very nice. A lot of holes for adjustment. Here's your case back. Casio, it is tough solar. Water resistant 200 meters, which is 20 bar. Japan movement stainless steel back. Carbon core guard. All the other information there. It is Bluetooth. You can see you got your, what they call the carbon core, and the rest of it is steel. So you have steel back, your carbon core right there, then the rest is completely steel on top, and so is the bezel. So you got a lot of steel in it, but it only weighs 80 grams on this rubber strap, guys. I love the fact that this keeper is rubber and not steel, because I really don't like the steel keepers. And then your nice buckle here. Also here, let me zoom back out, guys. Also here, they gave you a little lift. See that? A little bump out right there on the end. And that's just so that when you put it on, you run the tang through and all that, this part of it doesn't slide on you. With metal keepers, sometimes it has a tendency to slide, even with these type. But with that bump out, it catches it and it won't let you go any further. But you just push down and it comes right out. So they really thought this watch out really, really well, guys. Of course, you have white painted hands and painted indices. Now the steel version, complete steel with the bracelet, doesn't have the white hands. They're more grayish. So it's a lot harder to see. But this one on the rubber strap has white painted hands and it really pops. So you can see the time very easily. Also have the white indice on the chapter ring. You do have, as you can see, the metal, or what looks to be metal indices there on the dial. See that? Your battery indicator and all that good stuff. But the white shows up really, really well, as do the hands, especially at night when you turn the light, hit the light, because the white hands do loom. They actually have loom, so you can see those at night. But if you press the light button, you don't see it there, but that light shoots the whole dial, and it sets up, it hits dial with a lot of light, and it does really help see the time. Plus, it backlights the other sub dials so you can see it better. Let me go ahead and do that for you guys before I wrap up this video. Okay, you see that? Very bright hands. See that? You can see it's about 10 minutes to 2. But watch this. See how bright that light is? It shoots up. So you can already see the time right there, no problem, without even hitting the light. If you hit the light, you can see the time real well. See that? So it does a great job, guys. I do believe they hit a home run with this one, guys. I think they did a great job. And yeah, it's if you're considering a G Steel, I would say go with this one. What is it again? The GST-B400, because it doesn't wear as big as typical G-Shocks, and it is very, very thin, guys. It is very, very thin. So anyways, thanks for being with me today, guys, and remember to never stop winding crowns.